You look all fancied up.
I know. Don't be afraid. If you haven't been here before, we don't do this every week.
Today is a special day.
Yes.
Today is the day that our practitioner corps of the Center for Spiritual Living grows. And I am so grateful for the work of the practitioners in this community who stand with each and every one of us in consciousness to know truth. And many of you have used the services of a practitioner, whether it was for a physical demonstration or a financial demonstration or finding love or jobs or whatever evolving in consciousness. And so this day we get to welcome new beings of light into our community so that we all shine a bit brighter. And I'm so proud for all of the years of work that you've put in, not only at this center but previous to that, to be able to show up and stand tall this day. And we are also welcoming into our practitioner corps Ron LaPointe, who has transferred his license from Guidance Church in Los Angeles, and I'm just thrilled that we are just booming here practitioner-wise.
So why do we get all gussied up like this? The reason in my heart is that this is just so extraordinarily important to us for our practitioner corps to grow and for us to receive those who are choosing this path. I think that the idea of the practitioner is the greatest idea in our movement, the idea of practicing the science of mind and to doing it not only for oneself but for others, and to do it in a way that is powerful and meaningful. All ministers are practitioners first in this movement. So we stand with our practitioners this morning, knowing that that is the essence of who we are, and the consciousness that these people bring to our community is unsurpassed. They have done the work and continue to do the work in their hearts and their lives to stand forward for all of us, for this community, for this movement, and for all of humanity and all of life. And they do it in a really good way. So we get to celebrate that today. And for me, that's what this is about. And Barbara mentioned that Ron is going to actually become a practitioner within our community today. Officially, he's been here a long time, and we'll hear more from him in a bit. But I also want to acknowledge that we have another practitioner with us today that's been with us quite a bit and will be with us more. Carson Henderson, stand up for us. Let's acknowledge you. So Carson is a practitioner with the Mile High Church in Denver, actually Lakewood, Colorado, a suburb of Denver, and has served for some time. Has just entered ministerial school, so she's on that ministerial path. And I know, chuckles, because some of them know. Anyway, Carson, thank you for joining us here today, and we're going to ask you to stand with our practitioners here in a few minutes. And Carson also is starting a ministry in Greenville, South Carolina. And that's good stuff. So we begin.
So I'm going to invite the practitioners that are moving into their license here to come up onto the stage. Chris Anderson, Sabrina Fricks, Zebulon Fry, Emily Long, Nancy Miller, and Lissa Rowe.
And I'm going to invite all of our licensed practitioners, including Ron and including Carson, to please come forward. And I want you all to move forward, please. Let them surround you, okay? So take one step to your right. There you go. So everybody else just come up here and find a place either on the stairs or the floor, or if you want to stand behind them and watch their back, that works too. Whatever works for you. I know, that's a good thing.
You can stand down here if you want.
Great.
You're going to climb up.
Very good. And here we go. Chris Anderson, Sabrina Fricks, Zebulon Fry, Emily Long, Nancy Miller, Lissa Rowe. You have chosen healing through the knowing of truth as a life profession. You have consecrated yourselves to this end through study and application. Now do you dedicate your life to the service of others. And to you who join these receiving their licenses today, you too have chosen healing through the knowing of truth as a life profession. You have consecrated yourselves to this end through continued study and application. Do you now rededicate your life to the service of others?
I do.
Nice.
Chris, Sabrina, Zeb, Emily, Nancy, and Lissa, will you continue to study and expand your consciousness so that you become even more effective in your chosen way? And to the best of your ability, will you know the truth of each person in your life, especially those who come to you for support in consciousness? And to those practitioners who stand with them today, will you continue to study and expand your consciousness so that you become even more effective in your chosen way? And to the best of your ability, will you know the truth of each person in your life, including all colleagues and the 6 receiving their licenses here today?
Yes.
Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, had much to say about the work of the practitioner. Consider these words as you take the next step on your chosen path. The professional, mental, and spiritual practitioner is one who has dedicated their life, their time, their energy, and their intelligence to others through mental and spiritual means and methods. This is your calling.
Practitioners are those who recognize the power of mind. They definitely, specifically, concretely, and consciously speak from their objective mind into subjectivity, and in so doing, give direction to the law. The first requisite for the mental and spiritual practitioner is a full sense of the sanctity of trust and the sacredness of each person requesting treatment.
The work of the practitioner is always done in strict confidence and must be kept sacrosanct. A practitioner is obligated to honor this trust at the same level that the priest is obligated when hearing a confession, or an attorney is obligated when representing the affairs of a client, or a physician is obligated when caring for the well-being of a patient. This is a sacred trust.
The consciousness of the practitioner in spiritual mind treatment must go beyond words, statements, and phrases. It is at the center of all life and through the mind of spirit that the practitioner does her or his work. Practitioners hold the one for whom they are treating within their own mentality, dissolving all false appearances and erroneous conclusions to reveal only absolute truth. It is through the practitioner's directing of the law that all healing is accomplished.
Dr. Ernest Holmes writes these words to you as practitioners in How to Use the Science of Mind. You must see that everyone is moving in the light. You are one who is holding out a helping hand, gladly and willingly, feeling it the greatest privilege that can come to you. Out of your assurance that God is all there is, out of your knowledge that the law of mind in action will execute your work, you travel along the path of self-discovery for yourself and for others, sometimes blindly feeling your way, but always with an assurance that there is a way, a truth, and a life.
As you live these ideals, life is glorified, humanity is strengthened, and you continue to grow in greater awareness that all life dwells within the divine presence of the one Spirit. Now I'd like to invite those of you who have had your license for a little while to step down and go back to your seat, and we will leave these 6 up here. Thank you for your recommitment to this sacred trust.
So put this down. Thank you very much. Let's go up here, Christy.
it says John.
Go to the next page.
Right?
Am I not right?
No, you've got a whole page.
What does it say?
It says this
Oh,
is...
let me look at it. Oh, you're right. I read it and said, no, that's not now, that's later. But apparently it's now. All right. Oh yeah, I gotta charge you guys. That's right. Here we go. You ready? Okay. All of this that you have heard being so, I now charge you. Chris Anderson, Sabrina Fricks, Zebulon Fry, Emily Long, Nancy Miller, and Lissa Rowe. To rise above conditions, to hold yourself in divine consciousness, and to embrace the attributes of peace, power, beauty, joy, love, light, and wisdom, wherever you are and in whatever you do. That was your charge.
Through this knowing, you claim a consciousness that is clear and centered in divine truth. It is the practitioner consciousness. And now, as your teachers and loving supporters, and in the presence of your spiritual family, we present you with your practitioner license, which reads as follows. Centers for Spiritual Living. Be it known that through its leadership council, by virtue of the authority in it vested, has authorized and hereby grants the recognition of practitioner of religious science to Christina Anderson, Sabrina Carol Fritz, Zebulon Fry, Emily Long, Nancy V. Miller, Lissa G. Rowe, with all honors, privileges, and obligations thereto appertaining.
Appertaining, huh? I gotta find appertaining now. There it is. Now I want to invite Ron LaPointe to please join these beloveds on the stage, because we've come to our next part of this work. Some people are afraid of these stoles for a number of reasons, but that's okay, because what they mean what you let them mean. They mean what you call for them to mean. This practitioner stole represents your commitment to service to this community, and to all the people who seek guidance, clarity, and support. Today we place this stole upon your shoulders as a mantle that represents the gift of consciousness that you bring to this community and to the world. Does that work for you? Yes. Good. I know, Ron, that you've worn stoles at other communities because you've been a practitioner for quite a while now. So thank you for your willingness to wear this stole and to serve this community. You've been amazing in this process. You've earned this, you've worked for this. And you are a gift to this community because you bring a very high and clear consciousness in who you are in the world. Sabrina Fricks, you exemplify the concept of service. You've been serving this community since the day you born. And now you've reached that level of service that is at the top and is the broad and beautiful place where consciousness is revealed. Thank you for who you are in the world.
Zebulon Fry. Your gentleness, your clarity, your enthusiasm, your zeal is a gift to this community and the world. And I am just so proud of you and so honored to have been walking this path with you and know that the path is wide open and clear before you. It's an honor. Emily Long. I first met you while you were just hanging out here, too afraid to come in through these doors, and it's been amazing watching you evolve and grow and be of service in this community. Your work in the world is brilliant. You are a gift in my life. It's been an honor working with you, and I see for you just great love and great success. Thank you for blessing our community. Nancy Miller, may you wear this stole so that all of the world can see on the outside what we so clearly see on the inside. You're changing this world one child at a time. And Lissa Rowe, your elegance and grace carries you through to see the truth of all those around you. And may you wear this stole so that all can know who you are. I love you.
So we congratulate you for all your efforts and all that you bring at this moment into your life and into the life of this community. We welcome you into the family of licensed practitioners for the Center for Spiritual Living Asheville.
Welcome home.
Congratulations and welcome.
Wow. Woo. Here I am. I am so incredibly excited to be here. The journey has been incredible as well. How many of you have had a childhood favorite movie? Impacted your life?
Yeah.
My humble beginnings were with the movie, the Disney classic, The Sword and the Stone. Merlin was the teacher. And I absolutely knew as a child that I was Arthur. I was that child who had the inquisitive nature to learn, to grow, and to be. And I also knew that my first teacher was my mother. Never judging, always loving. Always. I raised two beautiful beings to also know that they had the ability to believe and pull the sword from the stone. I, at 34, became a nurse, put myself through school, had the journey of that incredible light for 20 years. I've had a blessed career. And then I knew that I still had that belief within my soul as a child that I had watching that movie. And I came upon my partner, the love of my life. It was from that belief. I also walked through these doors 5.5 years ago. The incredible journey that has been has brought me to this stage. To know who I am, to have every single class, Everything that I see, everything that I hear, I have just enveloped into my soul. These teachings are my core. I was in Prac 2, and towards the end of class, almost the very end, we had a list of books that we were to choose a book from. And I looked at a few of those, and I saw a couple of books didn't resonate with me. And then I saw The Way of the Wizard. And lo and behold, here was Merlin once again. Merlin came back into my life teaching me alchemy, that we are gold. Metals turning to gold as people are gold. My Merlins are John, Barbara, Christy, and Ernest. I am so blessed to be here, and I am on this path, and I absolutely ask you to join me. Thank you.
All my life I knew, like many of us in traditional religions growing up, God was this guy on a cloud that doled out punishments for stuff we didn't even know about. And we got rewarded for managing not to screw up. And I heard that this guy was called God, and it was also love, but the dichotomy of vengeful and loving just didn't resonate as a child. And yet, I knew. In that still, quiet place, I knew. The trouble was I didn't know anybody else that knew. And I couldn't grasp that anybody didn't know. So I pretended not to know. And that pretending manifested some pretty interesting people and situations for a number of decades. I saw things that maybe I shouldn't have seen, and did things that, well, let's just say that I might could have thought them out better. But you know, it didn't matter what I did, or who I did it with, I couldn't get out of God. Because God is all that there is. So every word, every breath, every bit of love I experienced during all those years brought me through those doors 3 years ago. I heard Barbara speak that first morning, and I knew that I was in someplace special. After the celebration, it was my first day, and Barbara hugged me and said, "Welcome home." And I knew that I was home. I knew that I'd found a spiritual community of people that knew what I knew, that knew what I had known and had run from all my life. The concept of oneness in this teaching is what resonates so deeply in my soul, because I knew that within each of us there is that life. Within everyone. And it is perfect. It is who we each are. It is who I am. It is what I bring. And I know this life to be a life of service for me. And I choose this life of service in love and in joy. So today I stand in front of you as a practitioner, and that doesn't mean that I'm more enlightened or further along. It means I've taken classes, I've studied, and I've passed requirements to get here. But what I do is I stand with you, for you, and I'll know the truth when you forget. I'm humbled today. I stand on the shoulders of giants who came before, who did their work, so that I get to stand here today. Barbara and John, you are two of those giants. Thank you. So thank each of you for your part in my process. Christy, you've been an amazing teacher. Thank you. Charlie and Dorothy, my mentors, and my friend. Lynn, I love you. Thank you for the journey. Thank you all.
beginning?
So my journey, as it were, towards becoming a practitioner started about 5 years ago when we started taking classes here. Lisa and Jessica and I moved here in 2006, about this time, 2006. And I took the process is you take the first year classes, and then you can take Practitioner 1, and then Practitioner 2, and become a practitioner. So it's a 3-year process is the class time. And it turned out to be a 5-year process for me, which is fine. But, so when I got to I took a break before I took between Practitioner 1 and 2. And what that meant is whenever I took Practitioner 2, I came into the class and it was a little different because everyone else in the class had been together in Practitioner 1 the year before. And so they had this bond, this kind of a continuation of the bond that they started the year before. And I was new coming into it, and I was, wondering how that was going to work out. And from the very first day, from the very first class, I felt welcome. I felt like part of the family. And man, we had together some of the most intense emotional experiences of my life in this class. We, once near the beginning of class, we circled up, and it took turns going into the middle of the circle and talking about what we loved and honored about the person and admired about the person in the center of the circle. And being on the outside of the circle was incredibly emotional. Being on the inside of that circle with all that love and honor and admiration coming into you and through me was intense. It was very, very intense. And it was amazing because I learned, of course we all knew each other before the class, but I learned what these other folks in the class with me thought about me, how they viewed me in the world, what they saw as being my strengths and my positive attributes. And it just touched me. It was incredibly touching. And that was just one of many, many experiences we had together. It was just a phenomenal, phenomenal experience all the way through. And what did I learn? I learned through this process that we, all of us, are the most powerful things in the universe. We're the most powerful things that there are. All of us, each of us. And I also learned how to consciously direct that power into life to have it look the way that I want it to look. If someone is a licensed practitioner in this movement, they are one of the most powerful people that you will meet. The most powerful people on earth. And we're in service to work, to serve this community, to have your life look the way that you want it to look. That's an amazing honor that I have, that I'm undertaking to do this. I'm very honored to be here. I'm very honored to stand in front of you today with wearing this. So this is what they feel like, So, but it's great to be here. It's great. I'm very grateful to be up here. Very grateful for the experience. Very glad to serve this community in every way that I can. And I'm very much looking forward to doing that. So, thank you very much.
So I have, the writer that I am, been trying to come up with the words to express what it feels like to stand here as a licensed practitioner. I gotta tell you, I don't really have any. They're not here. But what I can say is that this has been amazingly transformative. I stand here clear and feeling loved and happy and steady and certain of life. And those might not have been the words you would have used to describe me when I walked into my first class. A more accurate description may have been lost, confused, depressed might have been an understatement. So this journey has been amazing. It has not always been easy. I would not describe it at all as an easy journey or process. But what was amazing about it was that there were people who stood with me, who knew for me when I couldn't remember who I was. They were practitioners who stood there and they gave me the space and the love and the light to use these tools of Science of Mind, to take these tools and build a rock-solid foundation inside myself that I can stand on. And because they were there for me, and because I took this journey, I now get to do that for you. I get to stand on that foundation and offer to you that truth, that clarity, that love. And I am so excited. I am so excited to do that because it has been amazing. And the joy of the whole process for me was finding out that I don't have to walk it alone. That life is this ever-shifting walk of change and transformation and transition, but we don't have to do it alone. That we have people who can stand there and remember for us when we can't. And I'm honored and thrilled and grateful to do that for you. And I'm so grateful for this process and for the teachers that I've had, the friends who have stayed with me. And I'm grateful to myself for stubbornly refusing to give up and to just keep going. So thank you for all that you have given me and for the chance to serve you.
When I came into this world, I knew who I was. And just curious, recently I asked my parents to describe me when I first came in. And my dad said, very sensitive and very strong. And my mom said, cute and curious. So, about 7, there was a shift in my life. And outwardly, I started trying to become what I thought that others wanted me to be, what they wanted me to say and do. And inwardly, there was still a quest for truth. I knew there was truth that I wasn't hearing in Sunday school. So this led to a life of searching and exploring many spiritual paths. Many resonated with me, and I saw the truth in each one. And then there was parts that I did not resonate with. And I did see a pattern start to emerge. I saw that God is all there is. I saw that there's only love. And I saw that everything is connected. In 1997, in a bookstore in Florida, I found the Science of Magazine for the first time. And that's when I knew, again, I was not alone. Somebody else thought the same way I did. And in 2007, I came here. I entered these doors. And that first day I was here, they sang, "You are the face of God." And guess what? I started crying, and it didn't stop for the rest of the service. And this journey, classes and becoming a practitioner has opened me up. So, all the feelings that I had hidden inside for a long time just exploded. The dam was burst. Everything came out. I even came up with a new word that is called craffing, and it's the combination of crying and laughing at the same time. And I'm so grateful to Chuck who defined that. He said that's when the heart opens up and the mind surrenders. And just, I have felt so strongly everything around me my whole life, and now I know that it's okay. I'm in a whole room of people, that it's okay, whatever feeling I'm having. I can be it, I can allow it, feel it, and then I can let it go. And that's what I came to teach the kids. We're here first to validate your feelings, and then you go and be who you are, and you learn whatever you want to learn, and just know who you are all the way through. I came to this place to find community, and the best part of it is I found myself. I am so grateful to my birth family, my immediate family, and my spiritual family. Thank you.
I am a dreamer, and I know that dreams come true, for many of my dreams have come true. In 1991, I was living my favorite childhood dream. I was on safari in East Africa. I was armed with 3 cameras and fueled by anticipation and enthusiasm. It was all that I had imagined, and it was more than I had imagined. For while I lived my dream, shift happened. Lots of shift. I stood in Olduvai Gorge, and I felt connected to the place and to 1.5 million years of evolution. I watched in amazement as a rhinoceros and her 2 young ones approached a watering hole, and one of the young ones cried. And that voice was in my heart. I walked with a Maasai woman into her home, and I had come home. I had changed, and my life would never be the same. I returned to the dream that I had dreamed, the life that I had dreamed in New Jersey, and knew that it was time for a new dream. So I sat, and I remembered the vibrations, the feelings, the sensations. What I remembered was that incredible unity of life, the oneness. And as I thought about this and the experience in Africa, something simple emerged: move to the mountains and teach. Well, wouldn't you know, because life is as I dream it. I got an unexpected offer from a very unlikely source. And by 1994, I was living here in the mountains of Western North Carolina. And within 6 months, I was hired to teach skiing. Move to the mountains and teach. My life is as I dream it, as I think it. Fast forward to 2007. It's a year after my husband made his transition. It was time to dream a new dream. I walked into the office at the mountain, and my boss and my friend handed me a newspaper and said, "Listen, this sounds like you." That article was about a Science of Mind Center in Waynesville. So I did the usual. I procrastinated, I hesitated, but ultimately, I put my faith in Google. And Google referred me to this center. Yeah. It still took a year, almost a year and a half, before I walked in. But in the summer of 2008, I walked through those doors. 4 years, many classes, and lots of shift later, I stand before you in sacred service as a licensed practitioner. Life is but a dream. Let's dream a good one together. I love you, I bless you, and I know we are perfect. I also know that consciously and together, we shape-shift forward happily ever after. Thank you.
Hi. Sure do change, don't we? But it's all good. And it's really great to be here in God's neighborhood. You guys are just amazing. It's been a joy to get to know you. And it's an honor for me to share this day with all of you. John and Barbara, you're responsible for my being here, indirectly. My wife noticed an ad, might have been a Science of Mind, about the Practitioner Conference a year ago last May. She said, God, we've got to go to this. I said, okay. She said, Asheville. I said, Nashville? Asheville, and so forth. So we came to Asheville. I was about to retire, which I did last June, but we weren't quite sure where we just knew we were going to get out of Los Angeles while we could. It's still a great place. Anyway, when we got into our rented car at the airport and proceeded to the hotel, we looked around, looked at one another, and as they used to say, or they say now everywhere, they used to say just in the San Fernando Valley, oh my God, this is astounding. So here we are. Thank you for hosting this conference and allowing me to now share this wonderful center with you. Oh, 1993, I walked into a place called Agape somebody told me about. They said, you've got to check this place out, because I was going through a period of, shall we say, a void in my life. Something's missing. What is it? So I went to Agape, which used to be at the Miramar Hotel, for those of you who may know Santa Monica. And I walked in, and there were flowers and hugging people everywhere. I was out of there. Not ready for this. Not ready for primetime love. 4 years later, someone says, you've got to check this place out called Agape. Oh, well, okay. This time I went in and with some friends, my wife, and we sat in the back, directly behind someone with pink hair and earrings and so forth, and a collage of humanity that took me about 10 minutes to say, this is really amazing. Speaker was Michael Beckwith, and from then on, I enrolled in the class the next day, so I was ready for primetime love. All of our experiences in life are connected. Everyone we meet are our teachers, as we are teachers to everyone that we meet. This I know. Whether I had a white light experience, which I did, for those of you who may know what that is, or if anyone has been in combat, you know that even something as horrific as that will serve you in some fashion. And what I do know that as a kid, my mom said one afternoon, something's wrong. I don't know what it is. Moments later, the telephone rings, and one of her sisters got into a car accident. Now, gentlemen, women's intuition is real. That was the beginning of my spiritual growth. And all my experiences since then, because of these teachings, have enabled me to look back and see the connections. So if we allow these teachings through osmosis or otherwise to surface and allow it to be part of your consciousness, we will see that the oneness that was spoken about is truly real, that we are indeed one family. And this is another expression of that family. And I'm very honored to be part of it. Thank you.
Say how wonderful it has been to see your names up there with RSCP after the Religious Science Practitioner. Yes, it's good for all of us. So thank you for your consciousness, that consciousness you bring today. We are a better community with you here as practitioners, so thank you. And thank you all practitioners. I swear we are the best practitioners on the planet. Not that there's a competition going on, but these people are amazing. And I'm so grateful that you have chosen to do this work. We are a good community. We are a clear community. We do good work in the world. And a lot of it has to do with who you are. So thank you. You having a good day, everybody? Yes. Did you make some new friends today? Yes. All right. We're going to invite our